Hello comrades, it's Comrade Reese here, and today I'm just going to be talking about the organisation of a working class party, since it is very misunderstood. Revolutionary theory alone will not overthrow capitalism, as there needs to be unity, coordination and direction of the working class in order for it to succeed in taking power. The working class needs to combine its revolutionary theory with a strong organisation to overthrow the capitalist class. The working class needs a party of its own. One step forward, two steps back is a cornerstone of Marxism-Leninism in relation to organisational matters that was written in 1904 as a summary of the events of the Second Congress of the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party, which later became the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. The Second Congress of the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party was held in 1903. And its aim was to unify into one democratically centralized party. It was at this Congress that the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party split into two groups, the Mensheviks and the Bolsheviks. Lenin's analysis of the Congress detailed each debate and vote, drawing out the developments and the divergence of the various trends at the Congress. The three main themes of the book that emerge are: what type of party does the working class need? How should such a party be organised? And finally, the importance of the fight against anarchism and amateurishness in matters of organisation. Lenin demonstrated that the questions of organisation, which granted at first may seem pretty dogmatic, are actually very important in the struggle against capitalism and for socialism. Lenin showed how a sloppy, petty bourgeois anarchistic approach to organisational matters is very dangerous and can only lead to failure. And I would like to read out a quote by Lenin in which he pointed out that these fundamental characteristics of opportunism in matters of organisation are to be observed in all social democratic parties of the world, wherever there is a division into a revolutionary and an opportunist wing. Keep in mind that in 1904 the term social democratic still meant communist, but it had not yet become synonymous with class collaborationism and reformism. When answering this question, the first thing we must all ask ourselves is, what is our goal and what is it that we are fighting for? By doing this, it should make it easier to answer that question. The goal of the working class is to overthrow the capitalist system that is oppressing the majority of the population and to replace it with a socialist system. Actually doing this is no easy task at all, because the ruling capitalist class are not simply going to give up their power and just hand it over to the working class, no matter how nicely they are asked or how reasonably explained to them that their time is up. Therefore, it is the role of the working class to overthrow the capitalist class and take control of the means of production, distribution and exchange. In Lenin's book, What is to be Done, he demonstrated that the working class cannot rely on luck to overthrow the capitalist class. There needs to be direction and unity of action, and this can only come from a strong and consistent understanding of the nature of capitalism, because without this, the working class will basically just be wasting time and energy resisting capitalism in a random, ineffectual manner, instead of directing its activity along the quickest path to socialism. The working class needs a vanguard, which is a strong and consolidated leadership that is united by organisation and steeled by revolutionary theory and experience. In his book, One Step Forward, Two Steps Back, Lenin constantly stressed that although the party is the truest representation of the political aspirations of the working class, an equal sign cannot be placed between the working class and the party. The party itself is the vanguard, which is the advanced detachment of the working class, consisting of the most class-conscious workers who are fully armed with theoretical knowledge and practical skill. Basically, the vanguard is full of people who are definitely ready to lead the working class in its struggle for socialism. At the Second Party Congress of the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party, the adoption of the party programme, which was the political direction of the party as drafted by Lenin and those close to him, was passed without a fierce battle. This was because of the strong ideological campaign that was carried out over the preceding years by Iskra, which was the newspaper edited by Lenin, and this newspaper was against the open opportunism of the economists. I would like to read out a quote from Comrade Stalin to start off answering this question. A party which has set out to lead the fighting proletariat must not be a chance conglomeration of individuals, but a united centralized organization, so that its activities can be directed according to a single plan. Lenin had stressed that the party must consist of the best elements of the working class. He exposed the backdoor methods that the opportunists of the day were using to try and twist the party around into a loosely organized club open to anybody who wanted to sign themselves up. The typical opportunist argument was that party membership should be based solely on an acceptance of the party program. But this opportunist formulation opens the door for party membership that does not need submission to real party discipline. This is the perfect membership criteria for the individualist who wants to one day wear the party's badge and the next just do their own thing, without the fear of retaliation from the party. Therefore, it creates a party of individuals who, on paper, are committed to fighting for socialism, but in reality are not required to implement and engage in the struggle as part of the whole party. So Lenin insisted that the party must enroll those comrades who are willing to not only completely agree with the party's program, but to also submit themselves to party discipline and to actively work in a party organization. If every strike is conscious, then there is no need for a party or even leadership, and therefore the battle is as good as won. However, the reality is that not every strike is conscious, and therefore the role of the party is to raise the consciousness of and to direct the working class in its struggle for socialism, because it cannot perform this task if its own consciousness is diluted. The party is the vanguard of the working class that has set about the serious task of overthrowing the capitalist class. The party is not just a loose collection of anyone who is vaguely against the capitalist system. As Comrade Stalin correctly put it in his book, The Foundations of Leninism, the party is the general staff of the proletariat. Lenin highlighted how very important it is to have rigorous constitution and rules. He showed that this is the basis on which to build organization rather than anarchy. Lenin refuted the allegation made by the individualist and anarchic party members that such a constitution and rules prevented a democracy. Therefore, he said that they are an organizational weapon, a means of enforcing both democracy and centralism within the party. Lenin demonstrated that, no matter how strong its political program is, a lack of seriousness on the questions of organization can totally undermine the effectiveness of the party and make it completely incapable of putting its program into practice. If the political program of the party is not combined with a strong, disciplined organization fit to lead the working class in the struggle for socialism, it is only inevitable that the strength of the political program of the party will be reduced dramatically. So, comrades, to summarize, if we want to build a party that is fit to lead the working class to victory, then we must have a very centralized organization that is able to wield all the forces at its disposal into a unified fighting machine. The Congress of 1903 was not a small group of people engaged in an argument over theory. They were arguing over what was the correct theory and practice to support a revolutionary party that would be capable of leading the working class to a successful revolution and establish a socialist society. A good example of a working class party that is organized in this way is the Communist Party of Great Britain, Marxist-Leninist, or the CPGB-ML. I have made a video on the CPGB-ML. A link to it is in the description, and I'd recommend that you go and check it out.